what happened to me particularly was we had a certain percentage of people who, when they went on the programs, had strange reactions to the vitamins. So most people went on the programs and it handled their diabetes or their asthma or whatever it was. It just rebalanced their system, so it knocked out whatever was going on that was incorrect. But there was a certain percentage of the people that had strange reactions to the vitamins, and then we found out that they also had strange reactions to medications. So I volunteered to find out what was wrong with these people. And one of the first things I found out is they all had low stomach acid. Their hydrochloric acid levels were low in their stomach. And when that occurs, you just naturally don't tolerate vitamins or medicines because your body can't break them down. So they actually act as a toxin in the body. But the other thing I found out, which was more amazing, is that the reason why all of these people, the primary reason why they had crazy reactions to the vitamins, was because they had candidiasis. And for those of you who don't know what that is, candidiasis is an overgrowth of a fungus in your intestinal tract, which is normally there, but only in small amounts. The fungus is called Candida Albicans. And when Candida Albicans grows to become a more dominant part of your flora, rather than a subdominant part, it does strange things because it releases alcohols into your body. It releases mycotoxins, which are toxins from yeasts and funguses, which adversely affect your nervous system. So that led me on the pathway of discovering how to handle Candida, because we had all these people coming to us to go on this program, and what was barring them is the fact they had an overgrowth of Candida. So I kept sending them to different doctors, hoping some doctor would be able to cure them, and nobody could. So I took it upon myself then to figure out how to unravel how you handle Candida, and that and what's come from that is my book, The Candida Chronicles, which you can get on Amazon, which explains my journey, my sojourn into understanding Candida and unraveling the mystery of Candida. Why it's a mystery is because Candida causes so many different symptoms. It could cause as much as maybe 150 different symptoms, and it affects everybody differently depending on your genetics. And it's because it's a fungus. It can flip itself. Technically, it's an organism which is called dimorphic, which means two lives. It can switch from a fungus to a yeast to a fungus to a yeast back and forth. It's the same organism that causes vaginal yeast infections and jock itch in men, but it's also in the intestinal tract. It becomes a fungus and it causes gas, bloating, all kinds of digestive problems. It can cause asthma. It can cause a condition called leaky gut syndrome, which is known as intestinal permeability, because the organism actually grows roots looking for sugar. So it pierces your own little capillaries in your blood and your blood vessels in your intestines, which causes a leaky gut. That allows things that normally would never be allowed to enter your bloodstream to just go right in. And that causes a whole cascade of inflammation. So it's a fascinating organism in what it can do. It's very similar to cancer in a way, because sugar feeds it and makes it multiply. It literally grows into your tissues. It permeates into your tissues. It suppresses your immune system. It's not cancer, but it has very similar properties in terms of how it works.
It increases fatigue, right? It alters mood.
Yeah, when you get Candida, the first thing you'll feel normally is you're sluggish, you're tired, and you start to have cognitive problems. Your memory starts to go. You don't remember things. Then you'll start getting gas, bloating, burping, all types of digestive problems. Then as it continues to go on, you start getting inflammatory problems. You may develop asthma. You develop skin rashes. Then when it comes to the point where you develop the leaky gut, now you become what we used to call a universal reactor, which is somebody who literally can't even leave their house because they react to the pollution. If they go to a party where there's cigarette smoke or perfume, they react to that. They get headaches. They can't walk down the aisle in the supermarket where you have your cleaning solutions. The odors just kill them. Well, sugar and white flour are two interesting things, and they're some of the worst things you could eat if you have Candida. But both of the sugar and white flour were both created more based on transportation and shipping, because when you strip away the nutrients from the brown sugar and you strip away the protein and the bran from the from the wheat, you end up with white flour, which bugs don't even want to go after. So you can ship it on a train across country, and it doesn't go bad. The bugs don't go after it because there's no nutrition.
Right. I mean,
So,
it tells you something.
But when a Candida patient eats these things, it's like throwing gasoline on a fire, because the Candida just loves the sugar. It absorbs it like crazy, and then it spreads. And then the person's wondering, gee, why do I get reactions when I eat these certain foods? And eventually they'll figure out it's carbs and sugar, and they go, well, those things are bad. I heard on the radio. But one of the most interesting cases we had was a young man who was developing some kind of collagen disease. It was the doctors had definitely concluded it was autoimmune, and his face was essentially sinking in because the cartilage in his face was being destroyed. So he literally was looking very strange, right? And he came to us because he had researched that Candida could possibly do this. Now, I didn't know anything about this. I was listening to him, and he said, just test me, do whatever you have to do. So he went along and did it, and after about a year, his face had fully come back. The collagen in his face had fully formed back.